What is going on, Rockstar? How are you? How are you? How are you? Happy Monday evening. And in this episode, we are going to talk about what you ought to know about your motivation. What you ought to know about your motivation. All right, so let's jump into it. If this is the first time you're seeing my face, my name is Coz. I mentor Black women in network marketing so they can fire their boss. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. So let's jump into it. So when I was researching this topic, it got very interesting to me. So my question was, why do you need to learn motivation? That was my question. Like, why do you need to learn motivation? And what motivation does, it encourages creative and critical thinking. Okay. So that's where motivation comes in. That's what it does. That's what it creates. So I wanted to go a little bit deeper, and I got my notes because it really got a little deep. So I want to know if you know that there are 4 different types of motivation. 4. And guys, I have been rockstar. I have been trying to pronounce this word, and hopefully I don't butcher it. But here goes. There's 4 types. Extrinsic, I'm sorry. See, this is where I thought. Okay, so extrinsic, extrinsic. I cannot pronounce this word. Intrinsic, introjection, and identified. Extrinsic. And extrinsic, it says like I'm saying extrinsic, but it's not. It's intrinsic, and then it's like extrinsic. Let me say it like that, and then introjected, and then identified. So those are the four different types of motivation. Now let's break it down even further. It's non-action and action, and then there's internal, which is inside, outside, internal and external. Okay. So actual non-action is identified and introjected. Action is extrinsic, extrinsic and intrinsic. Okay. So let's jump into it a little bit deeper. So intrinsic, because I want to talk about the inside first. You gotta go in. You gotta go inside yourself before, you go outside of yourself. You gotta go within to go out, if that makes sense. You gotta go in to go out, if that makes sense. So let's go in first. Okay. So intrinsic means you're doing the work on the inside. For example, oh my gosh, did I forget one? I think I did. Okay. So intrinsic is you're doing the work from the inside, which means like for example, when you are lining up with your MVPs, okay? Like you're lining up with them, you're doing the internal work, which produces your MVPs, and you stay. That's your guideline. Your MVPs, your morals, values, and principles. Okay, so that's what you do. That's what you line up with. Okay. All right, and then I just wrote it really, really weird. Number 2, introjected. It's kind of similar to intrinsic, But there is a slight difference because that particular piece is like, okay, you ever had something like, in your heart of hearts that something needs to get done and you don't do it, and then you feel guilty about it? Like that overwhelming sensation guilt of guilt. That's what that is. That is your introjected motivation. That's when you feel guilty about, you got something to do, but you don't do it. And then when you don't do it, it's like that overwhelming sensation of guilt. Okay. So then outside is the extrinsic. Oh, I got it. Yeah, extrinsic. I had it and then I lost it. Extrinsic motivation, which is outside, is like when you are forced to do something. When you are forced to do something, like say for instance, hey lady, how are you? So say for instance, you're when I think about forced, or not even forced, but something that you have to do, is like if you have a job and you go to this job and the motivation behind it is to pay the benefits or some bonuses or whatnot, right? So that's what I think about when I think about this. Now, this might not work for somebody who is oh, that's awesome. Better than amazing. I know that's right. This might not work for someone who is self-driven. I mean, think about that. With a lot with all of this that's going on right now, now more than ever is the best time to become, self-driven, self-motivated, all of that good stuff. So think about that. And then identified motivation is when something needs to get done. So if you have a goal, you wrote out your goals, and that's all you did. You wrote them out, you closed the notebook, you closed the app on the phone, and that was it. Like, you haven't yet decided that you wanted to do it yet. You haven't decided that far ahead. You know what I'm saying? So those are the 4 types of motivation. Let's go back through them. Extrinsic, intrinsic, introjected, and identified. I promise I'm literally going to work over to how to say that. I'm say it so much, it's just, I'm going to say it in my sleep. But I want to know, out of the four, which one do you identify with? Which one do you identify with? I know which one I identify with. The one I can't pronounce, of course. So the extrinsic is the one that I identify with. Let me know out of the 4 in the comments below which one you identify with. I know I cannot pronounce this word to save my life. Oh, but that's a go. I am going to pronounce it until I know it backwards and forwards in my sleep. But let me know out of the 4 which one you identify with. I will chat at you later, Rockstar. Have a wonderful Monday evening. Ciao.